This episode features one of my favorite comfort foods, mashed potatoes. In Ireland, mastering lump-free mashed potatoes is the hallmark of a good cook, or at least so my grandmother said. Let's get started. The first item to consider is the potato itself. Believe it or not, the starchier potatoes will yield the fluffiest, creamiest potatoes. Let's take a look. The russet potato is considered the starchiest and is the best for fluffy mashed potatoes. They're also good for baked, roasted, and French fried potatoes. The all-purpose potatoes can also be used for mashed potatoes and will yield a creamier mashed potato, which I happen to prefer. The waxy potatoes have the lowest starch content and will yield a gummy mashed potato because it already has a high moisture content. Okay, now you've chosen your potatoes and it's time to peel the potatoes. Important point, the best mashed potatoes, you do not rinse the potatoes at any point. Always sharpen your knife before using it in the kitchen. A dull knife is dangerous in the kitchen. Cut your potatoes into about 1/2 inch cube dice. Make sure your potato pieces are about the same size and not too big. If the pieces are too large, the outside will cook faster than the inside, or in the same way, if the pieces are not the same size, some will cook faster than others. Some pieces will end up being waterlogged, while others will be undercooked. Okay, our potatoes are chopped. Notice they are all approximately the same size, and that is going to help with even cooking. Now we're going to put these in a pot. And remember, do not rinse. You'll be tempted to rinse the starch off of these potatoes, but that's what helps you make a nice, creamy, smooth potato is the starch. Early seasoning with some salt. Get the salt going in here a little bit. And as it cooks in the salty water, the salt will be absorbed by the potatoes and give it a nice flavor. You always start with cold water. And I want just enough water to cover the top of the potatoes. You don't want to fill it too full with water. So just enough to cover the potatoes. And now we're going to put this on the stove and bring it to a boil, and then cover it. Okay, the potatoes are just starting to boil, so I'm going to cover them and lower the heat to just keep it at a low boil. And we're going to boil these until they're just tender, which is going to be about 8 minutes for about 4 potatoes. Of course, that time may change depending on how many potatoes you have, but this should take about 8 minutes. In the meantime, let's heat up the cream. I like to use heavy cream. You can use milk if you want a lower fat variety, or whole milk, or a mixture of half and half in milk, or half and half in cream. I like cream. You should never put cold butter or cold cream or milk into the potatoes because that will tend to make the potatoes seize and then you'll have lumps also. So you want to heat the cream or the milk. So I'm going to put the milk or the cream into a saucepan and I'm going to just gently bring that to a heat. And I'm going to put a little flavoring in my cream. You don't have to, but if you use subtle flavors, then if you use subtle flavors, then it will just give a depth to your potatoes. I like to flavor my cream before I put it into the potatoes. So I like kind of a subtle flavor, so I like to use thyme. I'm going to put a few sprigs of fresh thyme into the cream. And then I'm going to put a couple of cloves of garlic in there. For an added flavor. Actually, I'll do 3 or 4 cloves. Get them out of here. There we go. Alright, so you don't have to crush them or mince them because you're going to take this back out. You're just flavoring the cream. So just take your garlic and place it on your board, and then just put your knife over it and hit it, and it will kind of open up the garlic and release its flavor. And then you just put these whole cloves into your cream. Turn it down a bit. Salt and pepper to taste. I'll put a little bit, about a teaspoon of salt in there. And then I like white pepper. It's not as sharp as black pepper, and so I'm just going to give a little sprinkle of that. And that's all I need for my cream. And I'm just going to get that warmed up. All right, let's check and see if these potatoes are done. It's been about 8 minutes. So take one of your pieces of potato, and we're going to come over here. And the way I usually test this is on my board. And if you can take a spoon and easily flatten it, it's done. So you can see this is not quite done. It doesn't just kind of fall apart. So it's almost there, but not quite. A few more minutes. All right, we're going to try it again. It's been a couple more minutes, and you can see that now the potato is a little bit more translucent, and it indeed does just kind of smash right onto the table. So you can just see it easily smash into the table, and so I know that these are done. And they taste done. All right. Take the potatoes off the heat and drain them, and then put the potatoes back into the pan, and then we're going to put them back on the stove. Just for a minute, and kind of shake it a little bit and get them to kind of dry out. Get all that moisture off of the outside of the potato. You'll hear it start to sizzle. Give it a couple more shakes. Good. All right, now we're ready to go. Turn off the heat, and now we're ready to make our mashed potatoes. The best way to avoid lumpy mashed potatoes is to use a ricer. This is my favorite tool for mashed potatoes. Take some of your potatoes, and it's best to do this while they're hot. It's easier to do through the ricer. And you're going to just push them out, and you'll see them come out in a nice worm. And you're going to just push all of your mashed potatoes through, or your cooked potatoes through the ricer into a pan or a pot or a bowl. Just one more. these come out. Now you do not need a mixer. You don't need any extra equipment other than this little ricer to make the best, fluffiest, lump-free mashed potatoes. Get all of that good stuff there. And there you are. You've got nice, beautiful riced potatoes. Strain your cream, because the only thing you want is the cream. You don't want the garlic or the thyme or whatever other herbs you've decided to put into your mashed potatoes. Get that all out of there. Okay? And now, all you're going to need is a spatula. Now it's time to incorporate the warm cream into the riced potatoes. Add the cream in batches until you get the consistency you like. With each addition of cream, mix the cream into the potatoes well and check your seasoning, check your consistency. Add more cream as needed. And that's the best lump-free mashed potatoes. Enjoy!